Can you all see my screen?
Yes.
Oh yeah, thank you so much. Anyways, welcome to Tips for Web Development. So before we start, I would like to acknowledge the country we live in and we pay respect to the past, present, and emerging people who live in this Aboriginal and Torres Strait Island place. So, bit about myself. I just started as a normal kid who wants to do something useful while doing the studying high school. So I went to high schools as usual. I'm from India, by the way. So I am studying right now in ECU, but I used to study my bachelor's degree in India. So I joined in my high school. I don't know what to do. I just picked computer science group. So it feels so good. So we can learn computers and stuff. Well, we got two people. So during my studies in high school, I figured out computer science is the best place, and then I joined it. I was thinking what sort of subject I need to do in uni. So we in nowadays we have a lot of roles, like we can do web development, we can learn about cyber security, we can learn about data science, we can learn anything you want in computer science. But back in 6 years ago in India, we only have two domains, main one. One is computer science, another one is IT. So I was thinking about which one should I choose. If I choose computer science, I'll be learning about all the programming languages and everything, all the basics. But if I choose IT, I'll be learning about the app development and website development, and then what sort of rules and policies we will be having in a company, and then how we should maintain it. Basically, I don't really like on writing policies and stuff, so I picked programming side, and then I joined in my bachelor's in computer science in a uni, and then I finished my computer science degree there. And after that, again, I was thinking, what should I do? Because I learned everything, programming language and stuff during my bachelor's. I did a lot of projects on web development, app development, and then I did a big project on cyber security, and then which made me to join in cyber domain. And then right now I am working as a cyber analyst, but I have a big experience from IT industry, which is web development. And then I was thinking, what should I do? So now I finished my bachelor's. I don't know what to do. So let's think, what should I do? And then I picked, okay, Perth is a good place. Let's come to Perth and then study. I was analyzing different universities, UWA, Curtin, Murdoch, and ECU. Out of those universities, ECU is the one which has masters in cybersecurity along with the internship at the last semester. So I picked ECU. So I came to Perth and then I picked ECU. Now I'm studying in ECU. I'm doing a lot of volunteer works by teaching high school kids. Every school holidays, I teach high school kids about importance of cybersecurity, how should be safe in internet, and then what forensics, hacking, all those things. And then occasionally I come to She Codes and I do a lot of volunteer works by helping them out in plus programs for web development, JavaScript, and then Java, and then WordPress, all those things. So what I'm actually going to show here today. So what are the things I said tips for web design, but what I'm actually going to talk about, which are what is web design, a basic stuff. Some of them are going to be theory, but I'll be showing some practical examples as well. So I'll not bore you all for and then waste your time. So what is web design? And then you might have used already using wireframes. So I'll be talking about what is wireframe, why we actually need wireframe, why we need actually web design, this kind of whole thing. And then how should we pick color schemes? Each and every website looks unique. Some websites really look appealing, but some websites look more irritating to see. Why should What's the difference between them? Why should we pick the colors which is appealing? Why shouldn't we pick the colors which is kind of irritating to see? And then what is components? And then how a page is divided into components? How should we break it? And then practical tips for good website. What sort of website tips you should follow in order to make a good website? And then at the end, I have a plenty of time to answer all your questions. So let's move on to this topic. What is web design and why do we need it? So I'm going to use Marvel comic because I'm huge fan of Marvel. So web design is basically creating a Superman outfit for your entire website. So you create a website which needs to look more unique, and then it needs to look more appealing. It needs to look more punchy as well. So if someone opens your website, so for example, let's take Apple website. So if you open apple.com, you see the Apple websites look so appealing, which is they can actually show everything which we need to buy. For example, if you click iPhone in Apple website, the way they constructed that website, it's more complex. But once you start practicing from the basics, at the end you will definitely reach that complex technology where you can have those kind of punchy animations and cool stuffs, wherever whenever you scroll the website you get the animations and then it moves along the web page. But at the beginning everyone makes a small website, and then at the end we can make the complex website. You don't need to worry about like, oh, I'm not able to make a website which looks like Apple or Microsoft. Why I'm not able to make that kind of website? Everyone will make those kinds of website. The only thing we need to do is we need to push ourselves. We need to learn every day, learn about new technologies. From very first day you will be learning about what is HTML and CSS, but use those technologies to upskill yourself and then do some online courses like She Code Plus. Mentor, this Plus program is so good, which teaches you everything on from basics to advanced level. But you shouldn't stop after this Plus program. Once you finish this Plus program, you need to do upskilling yourself by doing online courses. Like there are a lot of free resources available online. You just do those free resources and then upskill yourself. Then you can make a good website. Basically, as I said, I'm going to use Moral. So web page, we're going to split it into two parts. So the main thing is you'll be adding a lot of things on your website, which kind of adding a lot of technologies for your suit, which is the appealingness of the website. And then at the end of the whole project, it will look so good. So I'm going to show you two websites. One is very simple web page, and then another one is complex one. This is the simple web page. This is my first web page which I created while I was learning how to do web design 6 years ago. So I'm not an expert. I used to be creating this kind of websites which is so simple, like all those mini buttons which you can see, new user and all those things. And then now I make good websites. I used to do a lot of freelancing by creating a lot of websites, and then now my entire thing is switched into cybersecurity domain. So I don't create any websites anymore. But this is my first website. Everyone starts like this. They create a simple page with all those check boxes, drop down lists, all those things. But at the end, you can make complex websites like this Apple website, where you have the column first row, that's called component, where you have store, Mac, all those things. If you press those icons, it will open a new page which has more animations and stuffs. So you start from simple website, but if you keep on doing your work and stuff, so at the end you will make complex websites like Apple. The next concept is wireframe. What is wireframe? Why do we need it? So basically, wireframe is kind of a blueprint for your entire project. So before you start your project, you will be creating a wireframe which will help you to do whatever task you want to do. Do we really need it? To be frank, it's kind of debatable. Nowadays, everyone uses wireframe. Back in those days, while I was creating web pages, I didn't use wireframe. At the time, I didn't know there is a term called wireframe existed at all the websites which I created until recently, everything was created without using wireframe. But the disadvantage of that part is, so I tend to forget a lot of concepts what the client says. For example, you go to a company, work in a company, and then the client says, I want to create a food ordering system. And then the client gives you all the components like I need home page, I need menu page, and then I need feedback column, and then I need all those sections, sign up page, and then login page, all those things. You remember everything, try to remember everything on your brain, and then you write notes as well. But wireframe will help you to analyze, okay, this is the first page, this is how it needs to be, and then this is from next page, this is how it needs to be, go to the second page. Wireframe can be simple like this, a simple wireframe which you just draw with your pen or sketches from your notebook or in your iPad or something. Simple wireframe like this, or a complex one which is like this. You create as dedicated, you spend dedicated time and energy for this one to create more efficient manner. You don't need to spend that much time to create this kind of complex wireframes. But if you create this kind of wireframes, which will help you really go in higher places in your future career. Because if you pick your domain as a web developer or an app developer, you need to make wireframes which looks like this, the complex ones. You can start from using a small wireframe, like a simple one like this, but you need to upskill yourself, and then you need to reach to a point where you can make complex wireframes like this. This is the place where you can show your talent, and then you can stand out in the crowd from others. So how should we choose our color for our website? So we have a lot of online tools where you can just type color picker for your website online. It will show a lot of color pickers like Adobe Color and all those W3 school colors, all those things. So how should you pick it? For example, let's take She Code's website. So She Code's main theme is purple. So they know their purpose. So their purpose is everything what we do, it needs to be in a little bit purplish color, and then we need to show what we are doing it. That's why we can see in She Code's website, most of the stuffs which looks either in purple background or the icons looks purple. Whereas in government websites, for example, Department of Home Affairs, they have everything in blue color. So if you compare purple and blue, they are like kind of simple and then lightish colors. No one picks darkish color like red or dark blue, all those things. They try to pick light colors so that if someone opens a website daytime or nighttime, it shouldn't affect their eyesight. If a website is affecting their eyesight, they will not open the website after that point. So you need to make sure the colors which you pick, it's more appealing to them, and then it's more light color so that they can view the website multiple times. And then one more thing is, if you once you picked your color, the main thing is you need to get your feedback from your friends or anyone. So if you work in a company or if you work as a team, if you pick a color for like blue or purple or yellow, you need to apply all those colors on your website and then ask your friends or your colleagues whether this color is suitable for this website. Or if you're working for a client, ask that client whether he or she likes this color on their website. Every time you do a progress, you need to have a chat with the client or your team so that you get some feedback from them, and then you can change what based on their feedback. So most of the stuffs which go wrong in a beginner state is they don't get feedbacks at all. You create a lot of websites. When I first started creating my website, I created a big project. At the end, I will show you my project. I haven't edited anything. It's been 6 years. I just have that one as an example to show you guys at the end. I did a lot of stuff, but I not even a single time I asked anyone's opinion. From the start till the end, I created everything and then I submitted it for my university project. And then I got paused. Luckily, I was happy that I got paused. But the lecturer gave me a bad feedback saying, like, you never ask any feedback. And then your website just have everything what we learned, but it doesn't look appealing. That's why you got just pass mark. Likewise, if you create a website like that to a company or a client, that company or a client will not satisfy with your progress. You need to make sure you get feedback and stuffs every time you make a new progress. For example, if you create 2 pages, ask for straight away, go and ask your friends or client for the feedback and then move further. Have checkpoints. So every time you get a project, or if right now you're all doing your portfolio, so have a checklist and checkpoint. So for example, if your portfolio is having 2 pages, as soon as you finish a particular column, go and ask your teacher or your friends about what sort of ways I can improvise from this. Whether is it good, or do I need to add something else, or do I need to change something else? Just go and ask for feedback every time you make a new change. You don't need to worry about whether you're annoying them or not. As a beginner, you need to ask a lot of questions. You need to check whether you're going in a right track. Because if you learn everything but in a wrong way, that's entirely waste of your time. The energy you spent on that one will definitely go on waste. So you need to make sure whatever you do, get feedback from everyone as much as possible you can. So the next thing is breaking down the page into components. You all know what is a page, which is just for example, if you go to a home page like She Codes or apple.com, that's a home page. What is a component? Basically, for example, this is the diagram where the blue column, each and every column is called component. So we split everything. For example, in Apple's website, the first column, the store on Apple logo, store, Mac, iPad, that's a component. And then the pictures, it's a component. And then if you scroll down, it's again a component. Every time you create a project or a portfolio, the very first thing while you will be doing is wireframes. The next thing is make sure you split your entire page into multiple components. And then every time you complete a component, go and ask for feedback and then see whether you're going in a right track. If you didn't split everything into a component, what will happen is you create a whole page, but it will not look aligned properly. You need to make sure you split everything into different components, then you can check everything and then alignments, all those things. If you didn't split everything into component, it will just you will be throwing everything, all that, you will be typing all those things in a single page, and then at the end of the day, it looks everything clustered and then doesn't go, give you any good appealing on your website or all those things. So before I move to the next page, I will show you my website, and I will show you what are the things I made which is a mistake, and then what sort of things you shouldn't do, and then what sort of things you should do. So this is my website. Everyone can able to see this website? Just send me a message, yes or no. That's all good. Yeah.
Yes, we can see.
Oh yeah, thank you. So this is my first project which I created 6 years ago. Here I use all those special fonts which as soon as I go to move my cursor next to the icons, it will just glow all those things on a slideshow. The one thing which is not good here is if I change the size on this page, it doesn't look good at all. So if I move this cursor and then make this one, as you can see here, this page doesn't look, the logo is going somewhere else. It doesn't align properly. You shouldn't have this kind of column which is changing this size. It should be automatic. So if you create a website, this is the first mistake everyone does. They are not doing it in an automated way, which is they're setting the size for the entire page into a different aspect ratio. So right now I'm using a big screen. That's why the page looks really good. If I use this, say open this same page on my laptop, it doesn't look good. It will look like this. Nothing. We have all those information there, but it doesn't give you a good appealing sense. And then the next thing is alignment. So I pressed menu. You can see here I added a lot of animations here. As soon as I move my cursor here, it just pops up, but it's not aligned properly. You can see one is bigger than the other one, and then the logo is on the entire left side, and then there is something else on the right side, and then everything is in different size, and then my back button is so small which I can't see. And then if I press anything, I the one thing which we do as a beginner is we add a lot of animations and stuff to make sure it looks more appealing, which is really good. So I added all those fonts and things, pop-ups, but one major thing is if you didn't divide it into components, which I didn't do it, that's why everything is in a single page, which is having different aspect ratio, which is different sizes. This picture came in 30 into 25 or something, and then this picture is in different size, and this picture is in different, and then at the end, see, this is in entirely different size. So you need to get some feedback and then make sure you do the task properly. Otherwise, you will be end up in doing creating website which looks like this, and then the heading, as you can see, it's really small, and then it's just at the top. It needs to be at the center if you're making everything at the center. And then the next thing is, if I go to deserts, I have the price rating and stuffs here, which is not at all aligned. If you can highlight this one, it's not aligned properly here. So it should be aligned properly. And then each and every picture, as I already told you, it's in different size. And then the last one, if it pops up, it shouldn't block anything. So whatever content you are showing there, it shouldn't block by pictures or animations which you're implementing on it. Every time it needs to differentiate between each other. That in order to do that thing, either you will be doing divide tag icon, or you need to split them into components. Then only it will help you to make sure everything looks nice. And then the other thing is this login page, so small box, and then the background is not there. So if you create a website, I didn't had any plans. So I created an online food ordering website. When I first started creating it, I thought, okay, I'll be having all those things, which is a home page with all those menus, icons, home menu, feedback, sign up, login, all those icons. But I was not thinking about what sort of things I need to have at the background and what sort of things I need to have. So I was just creating randomly. I was just throwing whatever I learned, just adding all those fonts, all those animations, all those colors and stuffs. Each and everything is in different colors. So this entire thing is in a blue background, but here it's in purple and then it's in green. There is no alignment here. So this website, if someone opens it as a beginner, they say, oh, it looks nice. You have everything in it. But once you learned everything, and then if you started to develop a lot of websites for clients and or a company, you will know this is not a good website to create because nothing is aligned properly, and then you added a lot of colors, which is not at all good. So the things which you need to learn from this particular website is you can add all those animations, you can add whatever you want, fonts and stuffs, but everything needs to align properly, and then it needs to have a good flow. If it didn't have a good flow, then there is no use to create a website which looks like this. So the next thing is, so what are the practical tips to create a web design? So if you are working in a team or a company, these are the skills you definitely need to have in order to have a good website. The skills are: keep it simple. So whatever you type, don't you don't need to use ChatGPT or anything to make a complex thinking, and then oh, you need to have a complex sentence, a long lengthy sentence, then everyone will think I'm so expert in this thing. Keep it as simple as possible. If your text is readable, then that's fine. You don't need to make it as a big one, a single line, so and then think oh, it needs to big it needs to be a big line so that everyone think oh, I'm a good coder or I'm a good web program developer. Try to make sure it looks simple, then you will definitely shine a lot from this. And then as I already told you, you need to test early and then regularly. So every time you create a small component or a page, ask for feedback and then try to implement those feedbacks. Just getting the feedbacks and not implementing those things is not at all a good a web developer skill. Whatever you get as a feedback, try to implement those things. Sometimes the feedback you get from people might be complex for you to understand. You can follow up with them and then ask them, oh, you said to create a different thing, but I'm not able to understand what you mean. Can you help me to figure out what you exactly said so that I can implement those skills? You never know, sometimes people will give you special tools, which is, for example, instead of using image tag, there is another tag, img tag. There is another tag in your HTML series where you can use that particular tag to call the images and from the website itself. You don't need to have the images on your local drive. You can directly call the images from the website. So this kind of small tags you'll be learning by getting feedback from them. You can't learn everything from a theory component like going to a class or going to a plus program. We teach everything to you, but there is still a lot to learn. The things which we teach are the basics, and then the things which you need to know, kind of essential ones. But if you ask feedback or if you ask questions, then only you can learn a lot from us, and then you can upskill yourself, and then you can develop a website which you will get satisfied over a few times you created the website. And then the final thing is stay up to date. Every time you create a website, there is no end date for it. So that the website which I showed you, which I created 6 years ago, I haven't changed anything for 6 years. That's a bad thing. The very first website which you create, if you know some skills, you need to implement on your skills on every website you create. So if you created something for client, you don't need to do it. But these are stuffs which you created as your personal projects, which you'll be having it for your entire life. Whatever skills you created, you need to practically implement those things instead of creating a new project and implementing those things. If you implement those skills in a previous project which you already created, you'll be getting some errors and then you'll be learning a lot from it. So for example, on the web food ordering website which I created, nowadays they use a payment portal. So if I implement a payment portal on that website, it will not work. The reason is my website is not self-hosted. I'm not hosting it anywhere. It's right now in my local drive. That's if I implement a payment portal on it. Payment portal is an online platform. If I implement that one on my website, it will not open, it will not work. I'll be spending money to get my payment portal, but at the end of the day, it's just waste of time. But you get an error from there. You will try to self-host your website, or you will try to buy a domain and host it on your domain. And then you implement the payment portal, and then you enhance the entire website. Who knows, at the end of the day, you might sell that website to someone in your local suburbs, and then you can get some money from it. So those are the main skills. You need to keep it simple and then test early and then have feedback from everyone regularly and then stay up to date. And then one more thing is you need to have your coding so clean, which is I will show you what I mean by clean. So this is the coding which I typed for my entire first project, the home screen. Indentation is very much important. So as you can see here, I have all those indentation. Everything is in properly indented. So if someone opens my file, they can read, okay, this is the CSS tag. So back in those days while I was creating, I added CSS onto the page, but it's not advisable. You should have a CSS page which is separated. Then you need to call it. Then only it's a good website. If you have everything on your website, once you create and then upload everything online and it becomes online, it becomes vulnerable as well. If someone wants to do something, they can change everything here. If you go to Google inspect column, you can change everything there for any website and you can see what it's throwing there. And then this is not a good style of writing a code. Every time you write a CSS, try to make sure you create a new file so that you can have a different file. So here I just said style.css, but you can have different name, home.css, and then call the entire CSS file for home. And then the another advantage is I told you keep it simple. So if you have this entire CSS on your home page, it's not simple. It's a big page where you will be having a lot of I have a lot of text here. So if I add the entire CSS on the first part, I'll be having a big page. If someone wants to read and then understand it, it will be really hard for them to first figure out what it is and then what does it mean. If you have this entire CSS in a different column and then call that a particular CSS file into your home page or any page, that's a good approach. Then people can see, okay, have a CSS file somewhere else. Let's go and analyze the CSS file, and then they can change and then they can play with the values. And then the main mistake which I did here is I haven't commented a single word in the entire page. I already told you guys this is my final project which I submitted for my uni. This is not a good thing. This is also one of the reason I didn't get a good mark in my uni. There is no comment here. I have everything here, but as a fresher, as a beginner, if someone opens a page and then they want to learn something, they can't understand what it is. They can't know why I implemented a script here. I implemented JavaScript here. They don't know why I implemented this one, and then what does this entire function does for this entire page. And then they don't know what is div, and then why I have the slideshow containers, and then why I have these things. No one knows it, because even for me, if I open it after 5-10 years, no one knows what I typed. So the main thing is keep it simple and then comment every line. So you don't need to comment every line, which means like comment all this entire TD columns. If you comment the first line, that's well and good. You don't need to comment each and every line if you're repeating the same font or same thing again and again. And then the other thing is, while creating a CSS, try to play with the CSS. As a beginner, CSS is a good place to learn and then play. So whatever you do in CSS, it will throw a different output for you on the home page, and then you can learn from it. So you can create custom animations, which is you can create whatever you think on your brain. If you want to create a page which just opens and then goes as a aeroplane and then comes back again as a page, you can create it in CSS. There is for everything there is a command there in CSS, and then some of them you will not find online. You just need to spend some time on understanding the background out of it. But once you figure out the basics, how to type a CSS for a simple page, you can play with it and then you can do whatever you want. All those Apple websites and big phone companies or any company's website, all those animations, they try to implement as much as possible on CSS side and JavaScript, because JavaScript is the main one which stores all the data and then connects it to the database. So the CSS will help them to have all those animations in a way which they want to see. So if you go and see Apple website, if you scroll down, if you click iPhone 15 and if you scroll down, every time you scroll down a particular column, it just changes the entire page into a different aspect. If they talk about the camera, it will just, if you scroll down, it will just show each and every camera to you, and then it will just show you different pixels and then all those animations. All those things, it may look complex, but you can do everything from CSS. So make sure the basic things which you need to learn is CSS is the best one. HTML, anyone can learn it. It's really easy. The basic stuff is you just need to add each and every part in a respective column. If you add a div tag or a paragraph column, it needs to be on body. If it is in body tag, it will be a different output. If it is in head tag, it's a different one. You can even do a lot of things. If you can even add a custom icon on your search bar. So once you created a simple website for your portfolio, just go to W3 School and then search for icon, add an icon to my web page. Then it will show a small coding for you. Understand the coding and then change it and then upload it in your portfolio. You can add your own custom logo on your top part of your search bar. For example, let me show you an example for that. Mm. So if you go to apple.com, you can see at the top there is a logo here, Apple icon. So all this kind of logos, you don't need to upload it on online to get it. You can just create these logos. You can have your own picture, or you can sometimes what you can do is, if you have plenty of time, you want to do something creative, you can make this logo which can rotate. So everything is available in W3 School website, where you can learn all those coding things. This particular logo, they haven't changed it to rotating. What you can do is, it can rotate like a circle, like 360-degree, and then it can show like a globe for you. If you have if you want to show your portfolio which is unique, you can add those skill, and then you can add those icon column on your page, which will show you a different output. And then the other thing is, every time you create a whole website, try to make sure you have an entire a blog post which is having a notepad, and then have everything on it. So track everything. So this day I created this one. You can see how much you are improving day by day. The very first day you might be creating only one particular column or one particular component, but after 1 week or 2 weeks time, you will be creating an entire page. So if you blog everything, if you have everything on your blog post, you can go through and then you can see what are the things you made, and then what are the things you learned from it. So in your blog post, the things you need to have is what you did today, and then what are things you learned from it, and what you're planning, hoping to do tomorrow. So if you have these three every day, whenever you do a website development, have those three in your blog post. Then once you finish your entire project, and then if you go back, you can see your personal growth, and then which will make you satisfied on your progress. Because this kind of jobs, this kind of roles, there is nothing to give you satisfaction than your own personal development. Like if you haven't seen your improvement, even if someone praises you, you will not feel satisfied. For example, if you create multiple websites, but everyone praises you, if you haven't seen it by yourself, you will not get satisfied. Or he or she says, oh, I'm doing good, but I'm not feeling comfortable. I'm not actually feeling satisfied by the work which I'm doing. I think I need to improve a lot. But if you have your blog post, you can go to a day one, and then see, okay, this is what I did in day one. See, I'm doing this thing on day end. So I improved a lot, which helps me a lot, and then it gives you a personal growth. So make sure you have that blog post, and then keep your whole HTML and CSS page intended properly, and then as simple as possible, and then have a separate CSS column, and then make sure you get feedback every time you create a single component or a single column. So as I told you, have a checklist, and then if you finish it, checkpoint in, go and ask for feedback. This will help you a lot in your portfolio and in your career as well. So we are at the end of this particular small session. I haven't talked a lot about it because Ollie and then Kate said it needs to be beginner friendly, but we are at the end. If you guys have any questions, you can ask me. Whether it's simple or complex, you can ask me. So do you guys have any questions? If you guys have any questions, you can type it in the chat. I can just read and then I can see. I just have one question. So, is there anyone who is willing to share what you guys did for your portfolio? How far you guys are in your portfolio? You don't need to share everything what you're doing, but just say like how much percentage you completed on your task and then what sort of things you learned from it, and then what you're really hoping to learn in the future. It's not compulsory. If you want to share, you can share it. Yeah. Oh, that's really good, Gina. Anyways, we are. Let me stop the recording, and then if you guys have any doubt, you can hang out, and then we can have a chat. Or else, thank you so much, guys, for coming today.